Howdy, everyone. My name's Nicholas, and welcome to the Headliner PodPod. We're a show about podcasts featuring podcasts by podcasters that's hosted by people who help podcasters with their podcasting. On each episode, a few of us folks over at Headliner sit down to play a game that centers around listening to randomly selected clips from over 500 podcast submissions we've gotten from podcasters. Why? Well, in order to find what we call Pod Zero. Here are the rules. Each lucky contestant will hear a 60-second podcast clip. They'll then need to pick the correct podcast title from a lineup of 3 choices before being shown the artwork for that show. Before we get the show on the road, though, let's say hi to each of our contestants for today, starting with Prateek.
Yeah, everyone.
Next up, we've got Krisy,
Let's go.
followed by Jesse
Hello.
and Max.
Aloha.
Very, very festive. Well, are you saying hello or goodbye before we,
Yes.
Both.
Good answer, because that is what aloha means. Anyway, we also have Alyssa, who has a very long and meticulously crafted ad read for us today, I believe.
Headliner.
Okay, cool. So moving on now. Speaking of Wayne's World references, just like, all right, cool. Let's just dive right into things, shall we? Prateek, how about you go first today?
Let's do it.
Cool.
I will say he did end up serving jail time in the 2000s for an unrelated robbery and kidnapping. Can you imagine just being in his position and having this lifetime of riches and fame in front of you and you throw it all away? And he did lose the civil case. He lost the civil case, but he did not pay even a fraction of what he was supposed to pay for it. Yeah. So he basically got away from it scot-free in all respects, other than his image has been tarnished ever since, which is something, but not enough.
It was brilliant in the naked guy. We'll give him that. It's like the whole Michael Jackson thing. I'm separating the artist from the human.
Michael Jackson did not kill anyone. I see the Michael Jackson thing as a little less black and white than OJ. OJ did it. Everybody knows he did it. Michael probably did it, but I think there's some room for doubt. I don't want to get into the whole thing. Tim, do you have a guess now?
You mentioned only one hour. There was an athlete on the list, so we already went over OJ. Are there other
There's
athletes?
another one.
There is another one.
Okay, there was our clip. I somehow knew
Great clip.
as soon as the audio started playing, I was just like, what if they're talking about OJ?
OJ, I know. I was waiting for it. So I was like, it's definitely OJ. I'm not sure, but they confirmed
And then they
it.
said it. Yeah.
Yep.
So here are your choices for today. Number 1, do the crime, sometimes do the time. Number 2, Tennis podcast. And number 3, doing the thing.
I think I'll go for the first one. That seems to be
Yeah.
the on point. I have no idea what tennis podcast would be related to this. What was the third one again?
Doing the thing.
Yeah, like
That is DOIN without the apostrophe or the G.
literally could be anything. Go for the first one. I'll go for the first one.
Okay. Do the crime, sometimes do the time is woefully incorrect. So sorry. It was Tennis podcast. I'm assuming it's some kind of top 10 show, something like that. Watch Mojo's top 10 killers, if you will. So here is a bit more about it. This was from the episode Most Famous Celebrity Killers, episode 256. And our show description is, Nick Emmel and guests deliver a mix of entertainment, education, and satirical banter as they cover fact-based top 10-ish lists in history, true crime, food, pop culture, and more. One host is prepped with fun facts, but the other is guessing the list in real time, creating an unpredictable roller coaster of laughs, learning, and chaos. 250 plus episodes exploring everything from the top 10-ish highest grossing films to the smartest animals to the deadliest cults. There's a top 10-ish list for every little fancy. For every weird little fancy. And if you're in the mood for a quick fix, our short form series, the Tiny 10-ish, drops bite-sized episodes every first Monday of the month right here in this feed. So there you go. Honestly, I thought a top 10 podcast would just be a lot drier than that, but it's kind of cool. They sort of gamify it by having someone guess the list in real time. I just appreciate that. I think that's neat. Then again, I'm also a sucker for trivia, so I guess that just speaks to my needs as a listener. Anyway, moving on forward, let's go with Krisy. next.
All right, I'm ready. Hold on. Where's a fun thing I can use?
Yeah, what's your fun thing this week?
I usually have a bunch of weird stuff. I'll use this again. I used this last time. What this is actually a mini disc.
Oh, whoa. Cool.
I follow this label called Board Science, and they make a bunch of music on like weird old DIY stuff.
That's so cool. I haven't seen a mini disc in ages.
So you just have a whole retro tech collection over there. VHS, mini
I'm
disc.
trying. I'm trying.
Christy's coming for me with my weird retro tech.
How does mini disc compare to vinyl?
Mini disc is
actually
it's actually an awful format. Just saying.
Oh, he's hating on your mini disc, Kristy.
No, like okay.
No. No one said it was good.
Yeah, like a normal CD can hold maybe 1 or 2 gigabytes of data, but like this is going back 20 years. A mini disc probably has like 700 megabytes. So it's just compressed audio through the board.
Yeah. you only saw it used for like 6 years in movies. Like, you know, there was something secret that needed to be passed from one thing. It was always like a mini disc.
Yeah, it's only cool because of movies and the Nintendo GameCube. That's the only reason anyone knows what a mini disc is. Anyway. Yeah, let's get this clip going.
If you looked at them, you wouldn't necessarily know that Jake does a guttural scream at some point in the set, you know. And Bethany just kind of heard the music and she was just like, let me just draw something up that I think might be cool. And I was just like, yeah, cool, we're open to anything right now. And then I remember that came through and we were all just like, what? Obviously, that's it. Like, that's perfect. And, you know, I think we love how the aesthetic is, again, slightly different. Like, when we've seen it in playlists and stuff, we knew that artwork would stand out, which I think it does. But also there's a lot of subtext in the meaning of the artwork as well that just tied in so perfectly to how we feel as a band and the stuff that Jake liked to put into words and articulate through his lyrics. And yeah, it is, you know, and we like as well that it's kind of open to, like, you three may have completely different takes on the meaning of it, and that's something that's really important for us. Keep it ambiguous.
All right.
There was your clip. And here are your 3 options for today, Kristy.
All right.
Number 1, the Itch Rock Radio and Podcast. Number 2, Behind the Band. And number 3, Rockin' Around the Pod.
Those are all really good.
They are.
Those are all really good. I truly believe wholeheartedly, and all of them are real, and that sucks. What is the least likely one?
Are you asking me? Because I won't
know
tell you.
it's rhetorical. It's rhetorical. I'm like staring off and talking to myself. Okay. I think the Behind the Band is a little too on the nose. I'm gonna go with the first one. I just like the way it flowed.
Okay. The Itch Rock Radio and Podcast is correct.
Yes, let's go.
Good on you. You're on a streak again.
Yeah.
Also, I gotta know, Alyssa, was Rockin' Around the Pod a Happy Days reference?
No, to be quite honest, I think I've used it before.
Okay. I just wanted to know, because like Rock Around the Pod, Rock Around the Clock. Okay. That's
no, I feel like I did that around like Christmas. Like I don't feel like it's an original thought. Well, it was, but not
at some point.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Well, this was from episode 208, a conversation with Jake Crawford and Luke Cayley of Unpeople. And our description is, The Itch is a long-time rock radio show on 89.1 The Wood, KCLC FM. Now its hosts have entered the podcasting world with rock news, reviews, and interviews exploring the deep connection between people and music. If it gets your head banging and your blood flowing, it's an itch we're here to scratch. So, there you have it. Cool artwork. This is obviously like episode specific artwork. I'm assuming it's showing both of the guests from Unpeople. And yeah, just neat stuff all around. I love to see like radio shows make podcasts because I think we should do more to like preserve radio, but that's a whole other tangent. So moving on forward, let's go with Jesse next.
Yeah.
You couldn't cope. If you couldn't handle what was going on in your life, like if you were going through a horrible breakup or something felt too much, that was just what you did. And it wasn't until I was out in the world and like talking to people to realize that that was so incredibly wrong.
I do want to say that I was a single mom with 2 kids and struggling with mental health issues as well as finances. And for a split second or two, every now and then, I would think, well, it'd be just so easy to turn the wheel quickly and be done with this nonsense. And so I have sympathy for those who choose that because life is overwhelming sometimes. I really do hear you, Cassandra. The issue here is that it's normalized, it's hurtful to the family.
Okay. There was your clip, Jesse. And here are your options for today. Number 1, Beneath You're Beautiful. Number 2, Growing Through It. And number 3, Scars to Your Beautiful.
So I do enjoy some music. And so I think I can kind of hear a song title in one of these. Maybe. Not getting a rise out of Alyssa, so maybe not. I am feeling strongly about number 1, Breathe You're Beautiful. And
it's Beneath You're Beautiful, in case
Beneath You're Beautiful.
Things. Yeah.
Beneath You're Beautiful. I can't read my own writing. So I am gonna stick with number 1 though. I felt a gravitational pull when it was read.
Sure. So Beneath You're Beautiful is correct. Good on ya. And yeah, one of them was a song. It was the third one, Scars to Your Beautiful. Was that the one you thought it was, Jesse?
Yes. Let's go. Even if it wasn't, I'm going to say yes now.
Okay. Well, I almost changed. Well, I did change it, and then I changed it back. I changed it to Beauty Scars for all of like 10 seconds. And then I was like, no, I think this is a song. So.
Well, that's Yakara.
Yeah.
2012.
There you go. I knew the words from somewhere. So I was like, okay. So yeah, this is from the episode Suicide Loss Survivors. And here's our show description. Welcome to See Beneath Your Beautiful, where guests share stories of adversity and perseverance which inspire, encourage, and challenge us. Host Hera Allison embraces these tough conversations, intimately exploring our loves, fears, and hopes with a delicious combination of depth and lightness. So, good stuff. It's about some heavy subject matter, but it sounds like a valuable podcast to have in your back pocket. And I do appreciate the artwork for it. I think it's very clean and tasteful. Jumping on over to Max, because you haven't gone yet, right? Yeah, you haven't.
You got it perfectly right. You don't remember?
I don't remember. Did you go already? Am I just having a senior moment?
Not only did you not remember that I went, but you remember that. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I know you are, Max. This was all a test. There's a trap door under you that'll open.
I think you're taking it seriously.
No.
Somebody who doesn't remember anything, I could empathize. I was like, oh, God.
Look, I had breakfast an hour and a half ago, and I don't even remember what it is, Max. So I don't blame you for thinking I might have been serious. Yeah. How did you? Okay. Anyway, cover your eyes.
Okay.
I have it every day at the same time.
His sensei is now telling him about your breakfast choices.
His sensei's a stalker.
تا این سرزمین تاریک با میگرن و لبخند پنجره رو باز گذاشتم تا خنکای شب و آزار صدا یادم بیاورد زنده‌ام. آهنگی شاد را دست جمعی میخوانند. یاد آن شب میافتم که 4 صبح در ایستگاه 5 توچال با غریبه ها مست کردیم و رقصیدیم. بعد رفتیم تا قله. آنجا هم رقصیدیم. بعد تنها برگشتم پایین. نزدیک ایستگاه 2 بودم که توی هدفونم صدای ابی آمد. تن تو کو.
That might have been the greatest thing I've ever heard.
Great clip.
That was so good.
Incredible.
What
I just want to start. It sounds like it was maybe Arabic.
Arabic,
yeah, it sounds like
symbols. Google. Yeah. I don't know. I just say Google.
Now, I just want to say several things before I give you your options. One, I love these titles. Alyssa, had I known, this would have been a Christy one, just because.
I don't. How am I even? Why do we need a language screener? I don't know.
Best of luck.
How
No?
you expect me to
Go with
get this
God,
right.
my
We support all
This is
podcasts here at
specifically
Headliner.
this is
That's
specifically
true.
because you tried to pull a fast one on me, Max. That's what's
Can we
happening.
do some? Can we at least vet that the person guessing knows the language? I mean, it just seems like that would be a baseline of fairness. But let's go. As Krisy would
No,
say, let's go.
no, but next Christmas you are all getting a copy of the Rosetta Stone. How about that?
Oh, okay.
The physical stone?
Yeah, the physical stone?
The actual Rosetta Stone. I've had it in my
Thank you.
closet for years, several of them, and yeah.
It's
Max,
about time.
You need to
Right.
splurge for your sensei training classes and get multi-language.
I need to upgrade.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to get premium. Now,
He called me
really
and he
quick,
said, "Hey, we
Yeah,
got to upgrade this man here." So,
you
sorry.
didn't prepare me for this. Wow,
Sorry.
it's a good lesson. Thank you, Sensei. Thank you, Alyssa. All right, I'm ready for this.
Okay, well, really
Lesson
quick,
in humility.
what would the Rolling Stones have called themselves back in the prehistoric age? The Rosetta Stones. Now, here are your titles, Max. Number 1, Love Radio. Number 2, Radio Love. And number 3, Love and Radio. And that's lovin', as in loving, not love and.
I mean, it's like as if it couldn't get any harder. I have 3 titles that are all essentially the same thing in different arrangements of words.
Yes.
So I'm just gonna go with the third because I have nothing to go off here. Just complete shot in the dark.
Okay. You are incorrect. It was just Love Radio. Good effort, though. Yeah, that was not an easy one to have guessed, especially when it's in another language and the person speaking, I don't know, he kind of conjured like Liam Neeson in a Taken movie, I think, just a little bit. How he was like mumbling into it. But
It sounded very well done, though. Like the
it
music.
did.
and
It
everything.
sounded very well produced. That is not like a pot shot or anything. I'm actually so curious about what this podcast is about, but despite being half Syrian, I don't speak the language. So, oh well. Cool artwork though.
Yeah, and you did guess it right about the language. I guess I'm just guessing from the
the characters
podcast
look
cover.
like they're Arabic.
That's a cool cover. Nice
it is.
illustration.
It is. Kind of reminds me of like a magazine cover from like the 80s or something, or like album art. But
yeah,
here's your chance, Max. You and everybody else can make up for the mistakes made today. You can all team up, work together, or not. You can fight it out. Makes for good podcast, I'm sure. So, how about everyone covers their eyes, teams up for one more clip?
I think one thing that a lot of fans and whatever, I think audiences in general have a hard time wrapping their heads around the idea that like the show you think you're watching may not be the show they're making, and the show you think you're watching probably isn't the show that the guy in the next apartment who's also watching it thinks he's watching, right? You know, like I think it's very easy in fan circles to hear a lot of other people on the same page and believe that you all are interpreting the same way and, you know, like seeing the same thing.
Look, we've all heard of echo chambers on social media and how it's making us all self-segregate into bubbles. But these bubbles are usually describing political affiliations, not television fandoms. Yet the principle remains the same.
Okay. There was your clip. And here are your 3 options. Fanfare. In defense of fandom. And putting the cult in cult following.
Oof.
Okay.
Those are good.
I'm leaning towards the first. I don't know how you guys are feeling. Like the last.
Yeah. What are the others?
In defense of fandom and putting the cult in cult following.
They're all pretty good.
How is fanfare spelled?
It is FAN, capital F, ARE, one word.
Okay. So that was the first one's just fanfare?
Yes.
And then the second one was the long one? And then the third one was the long one?
Yes.
Okay.
Really cleared it up about
yeah.
Because the way it sounded like it was fanfare, This really long
yeah,
one.
I see it.
That's what
Gotcha,
I was
gotcha.
like, okay, cool. That's the first one. That's crazy.
That would be the novel.
Yeah.
The novella.
Yes.
What are you guys thinking?
Fanfare's
know.
pretty good, pretty punny.
Yeah.
But how do you guys feel about number 2?
Hold on. Say number 2 and number 3 again.
Sure. So the second one is In Defense of Fandom. And the third is Putting the Cult in Cult Following.
Okay, I thought that was all one thing. The entire time, the way you said it.
Fanfare, colon, In Defense of Fandom, comma.
What would be
Putting
the other
Cult in Cult
option?
Following.
where are the two
the
other
way you
options?
said it, there wasn't enough hesitation in between them.
Okay, yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's a really long one. That's crazy. I'll pick that one, even though I had no idea I was picking all 3.
Well, if you picked all 3, you would have gotten some of it right.
Yeah,
Would have been partially correct. Yeah.
Let's pick all 3.
Yeah,
No.
we've never tried
Let's
this
not.
before. We pick all
One or
3.
none. One or none.
Yeah, it's one or none.
I like Fanfare the most.
I also hope that it's Fanfare.
Yeah, I hope that it's Fanfare. That's what I like. I like that one the most. I hope that they've made it Fanfare.
It's so glass half full.
Do we have
Yeah.
a consensus, Prateek?
Sure. I mean, I have no idea. So I'm fine with going with the majority opinion here.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Wisdom of the crowd. Madness of the
Wisdom
crowd.
of the crowd is Fanfare, which is incorrect. It was In Defense of Fandom.
All good titles.
Well, and
All
it's
good
also
titles.
a really good cover too.
Yeah, I really like that cover. The cassette in front of a shield. You got a nice old car over there. It's cool stuff.
Yeah.
All of the cover art today has been.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
been on
fire.
point.
It would be better if the cassette was a mini disc, though.
Yeah.
We really know. The real
Yeah.
fans.
I've never taken it
real
out of
fans.
here. I wonder what it even looks like.
It's going to be like
It's
a
empty.
3-inch disc, I think.
It's literally just the disc. It's just this.
Just a 3-inch disc.
Is it just a small CD? Like that's all
It's
it is.
literally just a small CD. It's got the same size hole, like an actual CD, but it's just
Here, wait.
it's just thinner. That's crazy.
I think it's the same size as a GameCube disc even. There.
Yeah, I think so too.
So, you guys were incorrect. So sorry. And a bit about this episode. The clip you just listened to was from Season 2, Episode 2, Putting My Theory to the Test. Here's our description. In Defense of Fandom explores the creative output of the SPN family, as supernatural fans call themselves, and illuminate the ways that fandom can be an incredibly positive influence in our lives. So I'm assuming it's a supernatural. I haven't seen the show, but I'm assuming it's about
Possibly.
supernatural. I didn't realize supernatural had something to do with a car, a shield, and a cassette, but okay, cool.
They drive a car in the show.
That's the car that's
Yeah.
like that's in the show. It's like their trusty steed.
Okay. See, that makes sense. But no, that's super interesting. And look, if you're going to make a show about fandom and stuff like that, Supernatural makes sense because I think that show's been off the air for 10 years and people still love it. So cool stuff all around. That being said, we have exhausted our clips for today. Thank you to everyone for playing. Thank you to everyone who got one wrong. My ego feels like I feel really good about myself, guys.
You're not
like
welcome.
I'm glowing right now.
I mean, it couldn't have been any more rigged. Like
I don't. Okay, Nicholas, why? It's my work. You read it. You read
because I have a complex that involves telling people that they were right, and that kind of kills me inside a little bit. So yeah.
Okay.
My ego is still out of control. Thank you for that. And yeah, hopefully you guys can keep it up next week with getting them wrong.
pod interference. That's
Yeah.
what happened today.
Oh my God.
Guessing
I
game
love when
interference.
Max gets them wrong. It's automatically like, let's launch an investigation into this. The host of the podcast has been doping in secret before recording like crazy theories.
Absolute witch hunt.
I'll take a blood test. And you'll have
complete
egg
swamp.
written all over your face.
Like who's the Mueller of podcasts that we can hire to investigate.
Yeah.
we need the podcast Mueller.
So there you have it. Thanks for playing. Thanks to everyone for listening, and we'll catch you next week. So yeah, bye.